Hey everybody, welcome to Snow Talk. This is Wave 3 News. Meteorologist Brian Good, filling in for Kevin Harnett, who is back, by the way, on Wednesday. And a lot of you guys have missed him. He's coming back, and I'm glad he's coming back. It's been a busy few weeks, several weeks really, for us. Not a lot of big storms have impacted us. It's been a busy pattern. Lots to track and keep an eye on, and so far we have lucked out from escaping a lot of the activity. Indianapolis is not. Indianapolis is taking on the brunt of it, but we've been lucky here. Tonight, though, we do have some things to talk about. Before I do that, though, here's our stats. Notice our normal has now increased to 4.1, so we are now below normal in snowfall. 6.3 was where we were last year to date. But notice the last milestone that I was hoping we'd hit before average, which is the 19th, is usually when we get our first winter storm. And by winter storm, I mean 4 inches or more. Don't think we're going to make that milestone this year. That'll be the only one that we'll miss. The other ones we nailed, and we nailed it way early this year. Now, as far as what's ahead for us, I'm not sure why I have 2 Twix bars there. I guess I was just hungry. But I don't see anything of interest until after at least the 22nd. I know it's 10 days away. That's the way it's looking. And for you snow lovers, don't get so upset. Don't throw things now at your cell phone or your TV or whatever you're watching me on. Don't throw things yet. I've got some good news for you guys. All right. Here's the Traveler's Advisory, in effect for our southeast corner of the country, our viewing area. It's in yellow. Traveler's Advisory means watch out for black ice. Black ice is ice that forms that is transparent enough to where it takes on the color of the pavement. In most cases, it's blacktop, so we call it black ice. And you can't see it unless your headlights hit it just right, get a little bit of a shine in front of you. Not everybody is going to see this because the wind today is going to dry up most of the roads. But in a few cases, it can catch you off guard. And black ice, I've witnessed many rush hours where someone hits a patch of black ice in downtown Louisville somewhere, and next thing you know, you got accident after accident after accident. It just you don't see it coming, so just drive slow. All right, as temperatures are now, we're above freezing barely, 33. Everybody else either at or below. We'll see that trend continue. A few snow showers in East Kentucky. Notice the cloud deck. It's trying to break up to our north around Indianapolis. If we see that trend thin out more into Indiana, you guys are dropping to the teens tonight, and some of the model data is suggesting that you will thin out enough to have that happen. So it could be very cold up to the north in Indiana tonight. The rest of us, it'll be cold, but not as brutal as what areas we'll see if they clear. And notice, too, the brighter white as our high clouds moving in over the lower cloud deck like a sandwich. So even if tomorrow, most of the low clouds are going to stay intact, but even if the low clouds try to break up, we will have an upper deck above our heads. So don't expect a lot of sunshine. You may get lucky, and the two may separate enough for you to see some sun, but one or the other is going to get you eventually, all right? So gloomy skies overall. All right, let's talk about temperatures and as we get through the days ahead. Cool snap, here it is this week on Thursday, leaves us. Now, we warm things up. I'm going to go a little warmer than what the data is showing here. I think 50s are quite likely on Saturday. I'm going to go 55 right now. At first, it looked like we would hold on to this for a while and could even go into the 60s. But then, in the past 12 hours, the data is coming in showing another cold front that's going to slide in here for Sunday. That's going to pretty much keep the warm up from getting too excessive and put the brakes on it, basically. So, when I say warm up, this is going to be a modest warm up, and it's going to be brief because these cool snaps are going to stay with us through about Thursday. And we try to balance things out, but notice the pattern is a little more zonal. This is more normal air. This is nothing brutally cold and nothing really warm, just normal. But notice how they got the oranges and yellows coming up from the south and the pinks, the cold air. That's a sign of low pressure forming here in the front range of the Rockies. We may get a warm front stretched out with some rain out of this. But this is going to be the system, and it should be a fairly healthy low pressure. All the signals are there for a decent low to move through. Yes, this is likely going to be a low pressure that would track mainly north, not to our south, so this would likely be a rain producer, rain ending as light snow. But this is the storm. Like with every warm-up we go through, you got to go through a warm-up to get cold again. If you stay average for a long time, you're not going to get anything real exciting. Because any storm that comes at you, if you're average, is going to warm you up above average. Every time it comes at you, that south wind's going to hit you, you go above average, boom. If you get really warm, you're going to get a low pressure coming through. It's going to be rain to light snow. Very classic setup. But it's that really cold air then that's got to build into here. Yes, it's going to be cold and dry. Two things happen after that usually. You get a clipper that comes in behind that, or you get cold enough, you get a southern stream system, and you get the warm up again. But this time, you can only warm up so far. And you get a winter storm, whether it's ice or snow. So that's how you get a winter storm in most cases in the Ohio Valley, and especially in Kentuckiana. You've got to go through this process, several steps to get to that. So these warm-ups, while the snow lovers are upset about them, you're going to have to get them to get us to where you want to get to get to the kind of weather you want. You've got to get through this first. So that's why you got to be patient. Let me show you the snow cover as it stands across the lower 48, most of it along the north of I-70. And yes, if you think it's been a while, it's been a while. In fact, 46 days since we've had measurable snow here into Kentuckiana. That seems like a long time. And it's a long time. Longest streak really since 2011, 2012. We actually had our first measurable snow that season on this day, on the 12th of January. Very light snow, like 1/10 of an inch. And that year we only ended up with like, I think 3 or 4 inches total for that year. That was a very warm year. We had record heat. We had the tornado outbreak on March 2nd, so that doesn't surprise me. Every winter is different. This winter is going to be one that we told you about in October. Remember from the Halloween forecast that it was going to be a lot of back and forths, a lot more warm spells this year compared to last year, and you're going to have fewer snow events. You can still get the same amount of snow as last year and less amount of systems. And I still think that's going to be the scenario for us. I do not see this being brutally cold for a long period like last year. All right, everybody's thinking that's what's going to happen. No, and we haven't been forecasting that. We've been forecasting back and forths, and I think that trend will continue. Andy Weingarten was here earlier. We were discussing. He feels it's going to be March is going to be snowy and cold for us. At least one big snow in March. Wouldn't surprise me. All the signs are there. The winter this year, the kind of winter that we're all waiting for, is going to be later than what you guys are more accustomed to. February, I think, is going to be a snowy month. March, I think we'll have snow in it for the third year in a row. So January's turned out to be a very odd year for us the past several years. It used to be our biggest storms happen in January. In the past few years, that hasn't been much the case. February and March have been much more crazy with either ice storms or big snows. And I think this year is the way things are lining up for that. All right. When we look at the PNA, AO, and the Arctic Oscillation here, that we all look at these for indices. Here's the European GFS, which, by the way, the GFS, its last model runs tomorrow night at 11 p.m. And then it's gone for good. The new one, the upgrade, becomes the new bad boy in town. It's a higher resolution model, and it goes out 17 days. Be curious to see how. So far, it doesn't seem to be too dramatically different. The Euro is still outscoring it, but anything's an improvement on the GFS. We look at PNA. We need this to stay positive. It's holding there, but barely. But hey, at least it's there. We need that to get that dip in the east. We need this to go negative to get some blocking. We need slower moving storms. Yes, that can mean warm-ups in advance of them. It's trending that way. You get to blocking pattern. We're getting there. We've been positive for a while in the NAL, but it's getting there. And we need the cold air. We need that to go negative to get cold air, and it is trending that way, and the oceans are signaling that this trend will continue. Here's a look at the upper atmosphere on the ensembles. Here's GFS, Euro, Canadian. And when you look at that, notice this dip here in the Pacific Ocean off the Washington State area. That is allowing for a flatter jet here in the eastern part of the country. That's why we're seeing some moderating temperatures. But when we look forward toward the last of the month, notice what happens. We don't have as much of a dip here in the Pacific, so you get much more of a straight cross-polar flow, the cold air, as we get to the last few days of January into February. And a close-up look at the GFS ensemble shows the same thing, that everything's lining itself up for a negative a negative AL. The NAL should go at least neutral, if not negative, and the PNA should go positive. Everything seems to be lining up for the very last week of January. I think that storm that's going to form on the 22nd in the Front Range of the Rockies will be the one that'll set the pattern up, and then we'll get into the cold pattern. It may take a week or two to get some snow systems involved, but everything, as I said, has a process. We're now into the quiet process of it all, the warmer part, the part that snow lovers hate. I feel your pain, guys. I love snow, but I get how this works, and so I can't be too upset at that when I know what's coming down the road. All right, that's it for now. I'll see you tonight at 11 o'clock.